Hi guys, good to see you again. Yeah, it's finally got our last piece in Tim Anderson um, joining. I think it's been well documented and talked about that you guys knew that we announced him a while back, and now he's officially uh, wearing Illini gear. So really excited about this piece. I think he brings a tremendous amount to the table. And, there's the obvious, which everybody understands, that covers basketball, he's from Chicago. He's been involved with an AAU program there in Mean Streets. But there's so much more to Tim than that. And to be very honest, I mean, that was not a piece of it. I would be lying. It is, but it's not the ultimate piece. You're talking about an elite workout guy, a guy that has spent his career really mastering that piece of it. The guys he has trained are at the NBA level. I'm excited about that piece, and I'm blending that in with what we do in our program. I think that helps further enhance everything we do in the development side of things. Obviously, his involvement, on in AAU basketball allows him to have connections that are much broader than the state of Illinois and the Chicago area. So, I think that you add him and the development piece and his national knowledge and understanding. You look at the recruiting success that they had at DePaul in terms of guys that have made it to the next level. Tim was a huge piece of that. And so he's a great guy. He's a great fit. And, I'm excited to have him the last few days on the court with us and working his way into an understanding of how we do things. But it's also been refreshing for me to pick his brain on certain things, and we'll continue to do that as time moves forward. So, that piece of our staff is complete, and I feel like we've got a great grasp of the recruiting world, and the staff is energetic and very committed. So I don't think I think we're in a great place, and we've got great guys that are representing the University of Illinois basketball.
Hey, good afternoon, Brad. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it felt like Tim was content to just kind of keep doing what he was doing with the training side of things. So can you kind of take us in, like what was the process of getting him and kind of getting him back into the college game with you guys?
Yeah, and I think there was, I think feels like he's had options. He was in a good position, and I think that maybe the University of Illinois provides something that can help further enhance his career on the coaching side of things. And yet, if it wasn't us, it may have been somebody else. It may not have. But I think he had a reputation, and his work spoke for itself. That he didn't have to dive back into this, and also it was the right situation.
Then you just talked about development, how important that is. I mean, Ayo is highly ranked, but obviously he developed greatly. Kofi the same way, Corbell in his first year. What do you credit that to in your program, Brad, to getting good players, obviously, but also getting them to where you think you can get them?
Yeah, character is a big piece of it. And I when I refer to character a lot, it's about that work ethic. It's about those guys who want to continue to work to get better. It's not I've got here and I've arrived. I've got here and I want to continue to get better. And you start throwing all of the pieces to what that entails, from Fletch to nutrition to Paul Schmidt is our athletic trainer, our recovery process. It's something that is a big part of what I've always done. I've always stressed the weight room everywhere I've been. Here at Illinois, we've been able to take that to a new level. and it also happens on the court. And as we dive into analytics and we dive into those things, we want guys to show a jump. And I'll use Ayo; he's the obvious one. Going from a 29% 3-point shooter one year to 39, and not having much mid-range game as a freshman, to that becomes his go-to move. And so I think it's it's a lot of time in the gym. We emphasize that our coaches are in there, not just managers or not just them by themselves. And Tim adds a great deal to that.
Thanks, Brad.
Coach, can you speak to the timing here? At Josh Whitman's media roundtable in June, he said, "I know people are anxious. We have a plan. We're executing that plan. We will have 3 assistants." A lot of talk about the delay. So can you talk to the timing of what all went into that?
No, those are obligations that that Tim had on his end. That there was no huge rush on my end in terms of the process. It involved a lot of parties outside of Tim and making sure that things are handled just on a professional and very correct way for both of us. So nothing more than that. It was really just doing things the proper way.
Did that concern you at all recruiting wise? I know the calendar was different this year because of things. Were you concerned about that, or were you able to do what you wanted to do on the road?
I think we've done quite well on the road to this point.
Thanks.
Hey, Coach, good seeing you. You clearly have put a big emphasis on recruiting Chicago with your connections there with Chick Coleman and what he had, and now doing the same thing with Tim Anderson. I know recruiting the city is clearly important to you in Illini basketball historically, but can you kind of contextualize how important it is to sign kids from Chicago and how important Tim Anderson's going to be for your guys' efforts up there?
Well, I've always said we want our best players in our state to stay at home. And Alec, it's not any different now than it was at that time. And yet I also understand that not every player is a fit for us. So, it's got to be the right fit. It's got to be the piece that we need at that time. We're starting to basically read a new book in terms of the way recruiting is going to happen. So, I think Tim is much, much more than just a Chicago guy. Now he's from there, and obviously he's got a tremendous amount of juice and clout and popularity and whatever you want to say there. But he's much broader than that. And as we open this new book with transfer portals and NIL and all that, I think that the world becomes a place that you've got to be able to recruit. You've got to be able to get to, and Tim's got connections and all over, and that's it's a great piece for our staff.
And then kind of going in a different direction, a week or so ago when you spoke with us inside of Oven when Kofi returned, you said you were still working through the different roles for everyone on the coaching staff. Have you determined the different responsibilities for each of them, and I guess what kind of went into or will go into making those decisions?
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just, saying, writing down a name on a piece of paper and giving them a specific duty. We're still on the road recruiting. We'll have all those meetings when we get everybody back. The NBA Top 100 is going on. So we'll have those conversations as we move forward. We're just a little premature in terms of what those look like, but we'll have discussions and sit down and get everybody really centered on and get them on the same page as we move towards and shift a little bit away from recruiting in terms of the travel aspect of it. So again, Tim's here now. He's been here 2 days, and we'll clean up after the Top 100 and sit down and have those meetings.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, Brad, good to see you. I'm curious if the timeline overlapped with Jacob Poland at Kansas State. Did you know Tim through that process at all, or maybe get any feel for who he was back then?
Yeah, it didn't have anything to do with it. I mean, I've known, obviously, fortunate to coach Kansas State's all-time leading scorer and Jake, and actually saw Jake this summer, and it was good to connect. But no, nothing was in play over the Jake or the connection. It was much broader than that in terms of what I thought our program needed at this time and what I was looking for, and again, putting the pieces together staff wise. So I think we're in a well-rounded place now with our staff.
How did you and Tim get in touch for this position? Was that reach out to him? And was there maybe a mutual connection there? How did this come about at Illinois?
Yeah, Tim and I talked 4 years ago when I got the job. And, I think it's one of the things that's the beautiful part of coaching is, it wasn't, our program was in a different place. I was in a different place. He's always been that guy on the road that was reaching out, saying, "Hi, coach," and this and that. We stayed in contact, and, Shazam, 4 years later, here we are, and it's the right fit, and it's where our program is at. And I liked him 4 years ago a lot when we spoke, and I have been a big fan. I've admired the way he goes about his business, and very professional. And then again, you start talking to people about what he does on the development side, and it was ideal for us.
Thank you, Brad.
Brad, how pleased were you with what you were able to do on the trail in July as we close the month here? And what does that mean to get out there and see recruits in person once again?
Well, it's fabulous to get out and see them. I think the intangible things go by the wayside when we stream and watch kids on film. So I think we were able to really zero in, Brett, and maybe some kids we liked streaming. Once we started watching them play, we didn't like as much. And and then there was others that were brought to the table that they became great fits. And there's some kids that we liked a lot more, and that maybe we weren't on. So that's the beauty of being able to see so many kids in one spot in different events, and it's exciting to be back doing that. I feel great about where we're at. I don't know, as I don't think any coach in the country knows, what their roster will look like a year from now. But I know I feel great about the potential for the guys that we're involved with.
Your schedule will be coming out here, I assume, soon. What do you like about what you're compiling in that with so many games that you already know you'll have?
Well, it'll be a great schedule. There's no doubt about that. And you can put that together with 20 league games, and we're not going to lack for strength of schedule again. But again, I think we've got experience. I think that helps, especially in early season games. You're talking about the return of Trent, DeMonte, Jake, Kofi. You're talking about guys with just a tremendous amount of experience. Return of Austin Hutcherson, who's is got is injury free, but he's a guy that's older. He's been in our system. And obviously, Plummer and Omar give us something that they've got experience. So I like that in terms of experience. That doesn't guarantee a win. Okay, like I said, we got great opponents and a great multi-team event in Kansas City, and it will prepare us for conference play. That's for sure.
Thanks.
Hey, Coach, good to see you. I know you mentioned Tim's more than just a Chicago guy, but with the Mean Streets connection in particular, what do you think that will bring to the table for your program?
I think it's timing, and I think it's not every player fits at that time. I think it's, obviously there's a tremendous connection there. I mean, that's stating the obvious. But I think, again, I don't want to say he's just that guy. He's not. He's so much more than that. So what it means is to be determined. I don't have a crystal ball. I know, you state the obvious. I mean, there's relationships, but Tim's got those with with everybody in the city, and the response has been so popular, and that's exciting to me, and it makes me feel like we've hit a home run with that one.
On that note, how do you feel about his ability to go recruit the Mac Irvin Fire, Illinois Wolves, or others within the state to have that balance?
I don't doubt that I mean, I look at what he's done at DePaul, and he's been able to be able to bring those guys from other programs and I think that's an advantage. I think that's one of the things that I'm very excited about.
Thanks.
Hey, Brad, to circle back to sort of, the development side, what is it about Tim's approach or maybe what he does in that arena that has maybe garnered him such, high praise from a lot of different people?
Well, everybody's judged on, what their competency, what they know, and obviously his is very high. He would not be and continually be in those positions if he wasn't very competent at what he did and understands the game. But the other piece to that is relationships. And Scott, you can't succeed in today's world. You can't succeed in the basketball world if you don't have great relationships and build trust. And obviously, there are people who trust him a great deal that want him to help grow their game and help their staff and whoever grow their game. So, I think you look at when you talk to Tim and you're around Tim, you see that he's a great communicator on all levels, and that's administratively, that's with coaches, that's with players, young kids. He's done that. He's literally done it at all levels. So that fits, and that's what excites me is he's a great communicator, and he's somebody that I know our guys are going to connect with.
I guess, how do you go about folding all he does and all of that into your program and making sure that sort of everything meshes well?
Yeah, again, I tell my people all the time and my staff all the time, I don't want to be complacent. I want to keep moving the needle. I want to be a guy that I want ideas. I want new ways to do things, and knowing that you've got very smart, competent people, you can incorporate new things with what you do, and you just do it a different way. And that excites me, and he's done that, and I've seen a great deal. I give those guys a lot of freedom in their individual workouts. I've loved watching his workouts, and it all helps enhance the individual get better, and it fits our team. So I encourage it.
Hey, Brad, you had said that you told Ayo back at the end of last season that it was time to go, and there was nothing more you could do for him as we're just a day away from the NBA draft now. What's kind of the feeling like as a coach, knowing all the work that you've seen him put in these last few years, that he's a day away from getting his pro career started?
Yeah, tomorrow will be a great day for that young man, and it's going to be a great day for whatever organization takes him. And I firmly believe his best days. I just look at his growth from his weight gain to the way his game's blossomed, developed. I describe Ayo as the ultimate winner. That's all he's done in high school, and helping us play a major role in building this. He just wins, and his best days are in front of him. Some team's going to be ecstatic. Good things should happen to good people, and good things should happen to those who work really hard. And Ayo's going to be that rewarded for that. And he's a wonderful young man, a wonderful family, and I'm excited to be up there and be with him tomorrow, and look forward to helping him celebrate what is truly going to be the start of, I hope, a very, very long and healthy pro career.
And you've said all along that you feel he's a #1 draft pick. If he is, kind of picked where he's projected right now in that, late first round, what does that kind of do for the program moving forward? And especially adding in Tim with his, track record of working with guys to get them to that next level in terms of recruiting.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt us. There's no doubt. I mean, Ayo's a guy that we use on so many fronts as an example. And, as a guy who did it the right way, as a guy who developed and worked and continued to grow, as a guy who took pride in winning, a guy who, wasn't afraid to take a chance and come to a program that was struggling at the time. And yet, he's one of the most confident. He's got tremendous swagger. He's got a lot of intangibles that fit. And again, it's something we'll talk about. And his jersey's going to hang in the rafters, so nobody's going to forget him. And it's just very rewarding as a coach to see a guy. A lot of people succeed in a lot of different levels, but he's going to succeed in basketball, and that's paid for his education, and it's given him the opportunity, and his hard work is going to be rewarded.
I think you had also said that his favorite game winner of yours was a conversation for another day. Is that has that time come, or is that something you still want to hang on to yourself?
No, I mean, there's so many. I think the one thing that will stick out is, and there are two when it comes to his game winners, Michigan State. And it was only because, and I love to roast him about it, it was only because Dockich said this possession is going to end really crappy on air. And I was busted the three. And so now it gives me a reason to talk smack to Dockich. And then the other one is at Michigan. And because that was an elite defender. That was one of the best defenders in the league. That was a grown man, a senior. And Ayo just got him to a spot and just jumped up and made a shot. And the young man hit so many, but those will be two that'll stick with me for a long time. And again, it's going to be interesting to see who steps into that role this year for our team.
Thanks, Brad.
That's good stuff. Good to see you, Brad. Circling back to the assistants, now that they're all here, I know you said you're still going to be identifying their roles or having those discussions, but is there a word or a phrase or a trait that you can put to each guy right now and say, this is where they really stand out, this is where they're particularly meaningful to our program?
Yeah, again, and I think I don't want to be premature, because we all haven't, to be honest, we all haven't sat in the same room yet. And I want to, I'll have my own ideas, but I also want to be a great listener and hear what they're comfortable with, what they like. I think I know, but Scott, I don't want to be premature and running out saying, hey, I think one of the great challenges that I've had as a coach is, we did some things differently last year with an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, a so-called special teams coordinator. That was easy to do because of COVID. Coaches never left. We were in practice every single day. I had never done that before. I don't know if that's doable this year. Those are all the things that we have to sit down and do. I mean, these coaches, we've got 110 days of recruiting that we have, and guys are gone. And, sometimes if you're I give you a defensive coordinator and you're out for 2 or 3 days recruiting, you show up the day of the game. That doesn't work very well. So, these are all things that we've got to talk about. We were able to, like I said, do some things differently because of COVID. But we've got potential to have, I hope, another coach on the floor that's not a per se coach. They allowed us to have 2 this summer. I hope that passes this fall. It's great for the game. It's great for young people. So we'll see how all that plays out.
I'm sorry, I did. Could you clarify what you meant by another coach on the floor?
Yeah, we like last year we could have we had Jeff and Zach could be on the floor and involved with our guys. They more in managerial roles. This year they could we had Tyler and Zach, and they could be involved in helping our guys. So right now we can only have the 4 coaches that actually coach, and so I hope that expands by one anyway. It'd be perfect if it was 2.
Thank
Coach, going back to recruiting, how has the conversation changed between coaches and recruits now that the NIL bill is allowed to be talked about? And are coaches allowed to talk about that with recruits, and to what extent?
Oh, we talk about it. I think we talk about it in generality, in very general terms. I think we're all in a position where we're trying to figure out how to do that. We talk about what we do with social media. We talk about our social media popularity. We talk about second largest living alumni base. We talk in terms that show potential benefit for the student athlete. But right now that's about all that we can do, and we can provide content through our audio visual. That's going to be in a huge piece as we go. I think one of the things I'm trying to handle is the weekly meetings with our NIL people to help them manage time, and to help them not get overwhelmed, to help them build their brand. Not every opportunity is a good opportunity, and so I'm not going to deal with that daily. We can't, but people are going to have to do that. But yeah, we have those conversations a lot, and we're getting asked about them a lot. And again, we can tell them the university's policies and what we're doing with open doors and how that works. But it's a pretty hot topic right now.
Thanks, Brett.
Brett, I'm just curious if you know how you will watch the draft tomorrow. Will you be with Ayo? Will you be on the road? Do you know where you'll be at?
I'll be with Ayo. Yeah.
What do you imagine that'll be like? When was the last time you were with somebody on draft night? Do you have any idea what that could be like?
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. It's pretty enjoyable experience. I mean, you're talking childhood dreams. You're obviously talking about a financial reward that is put in place there, but it becomes a pretty emotional moment. And like I said, you want good things to happen to good people, and that's what makes that event so special.
Thank you, Brett.
Hey, Brett, back to Tim. Do we know the origin story of you guys, how you met and how you became aware of him?
I don't know. Rob, you asked me questions that, I've met so many people in my 35 years. The first time I met him, I don't know. I barely remember when I met my wife. She'd probably just as soon forget it, but I gotta go by. I wouldn't know. I've been following AAU basketball since the invention of it, and he's been a part of it for a long time, and our relationship just continued to grow and be nurtured, over the course of time.